With little or no direction orientation, when dementia residents first come into dementia units, it's very difficult for them to find their rooms because it's a completely unfamiliar environment. They've come into the unit because they've often lost their way in a familiar environment, and here they are in an unfamiliar environment being expected to find their bedroom, for example, which can often be at the end of the corridor 15 doors away from the nurse's station. So how to go about this very difficult problem of them being able to find their room? Well, firstly, door identification is needed. Secondly, room identification is needed. And thirdly, lots of practice runs. So firstly, the door with the name and number has to be clearly identifiable so that when the person is walking along the corridor, they can recognize their name and their room. And indeed, their room number is also important because often the nurses at the nurses' station or carers will call out, say if it's Mrs. Smith who's lost her way, 5th on the right, Mrs. Smith, room 145. So they might give her a piece of paper with the room number on it, and then she has to go along all the way and find it. So just take an example. Say, for example, your mother is in the unit, she's 85, she has Alzheimer's, she's just arrived pretty much, and she has difficulty finding her room. So maybe she's been there a couple of months and the nurse has said to you that she is having problems and stress because of not being able to find her room. So you've quizzed yourself up on it and recognise and realise the importance of making the door identifiable. So you go into the room and you say, "Hi Mum, I've just understood, the nurse has told me that you're having problems finding your room. So what we're going to do is we're going to go about the mission of making your door identifiable and the room identifiable." So with the door, Mum, what we're going to do is I'm going to laminate a card with your name on it and the number of your room in big letters at your eye level. So you're a short lady, 5'3", so I'm going to make sure when I bring it in for you, we're going to stand you at the door on your walker, because when you're walking along the corridor looking for your room number, you are on the walker, which makes you a bit lower. And at eye level height, we're going to put this lovely little sign with your name and number. I've noticed some of the other relatives are doing it on the long-term relatives and the residents. They've done all this, they've sort of sussed it out. So I'm copying their example. Now, the other thing they do, Mum, is they put up a little picture, a recognisable picture, clear, big and, you know, easily understood, if you like, not a tiny little picture of the family that you can hardly see, that could well be blurry if your eyesight's not too good, but a nice, decent sized, clear picture. And Bob was going through the attic the other day when he found your lovely armchair. Oh, by the way, how are you finding that lovely armchair? Oh, very good, dear, it's so comfortable. Fantastic. Well, anyway, he found this little box of cards, and I was just sort of flicking through it, and there's a nice little picture of your cat Fluffy. So you bring out the cat Fluffy picture. Oh, Fluffy, I did so love Fluffy. I know, Mum, he was a really beloved cat of yours, wasn't he, for 15 years or something? Oh yes, I so miss him. Well, actually what I was thinking, Mum, is how would you like me to put Fluffy, identifiable Fluffy, you'll never forget Fluffy, on the door, on your door, underneath the name and number. So when you're walking along all the foreign doors along the corridor, you'll recognise when you come to your one because you'll see Fluffy. Oh yes, dear, I'm sure that will help me a lot. Okay, so we'll get Fluffy, laminated door sign, your name and number of the room. Now, the second thing, Mum, is we have to make your room identifiable so that when you walk into the room, you're not disorientated. It's clear to you that this indeed is your room, because all the rooms here are pretty much the same inside, the basics. except what we put in it to make it cozy, warm and comfortable. But for it to be recognisable for you, say if you're having a stressful day or something, I brought in the pictures that you asked for, that Bob released from the homestead, happily I might add, of the family. So here's the one of the family, mum, dad and the 3 kids. Oh yes dear, that's marvellous. And Bob put in black felt tip the names on the glass below. Oh, that's so considerate, dear, that's really lovely. And here's 2 pictures of the farmstead, the homestead and the farm. Which one do you like? Oh, I quite like the one with the winding path in it, you know, down to the gate. Okay, so we've got that family, farm. Now we're going to put these in a place, mum, which is identifiable, so that when you walk into your room, after you've found the room, now happily with the door identification, when you walk into the room, your eyesight straight ahead, you can see the pictures of the farm and the family, and that will click that yes, this is your room. Oh, good idea. Okay, so we'll find a place for that you can see from your chair, so you know you can reminisce and enjoy, and also clear for when you come into your room. So there we have it, mum. Room identification, door identification, and the pathways. We'll do a bit of practice on the pathways. You and me, you know, walking along arm in arm or with your walker or whatever you like. Lots of practice from your room to the nurse's station to lounge, and lounge to dining room. They're the main pathways. So if we practice those a bit, you'll be fine. I mean, you're half getting it. You're nearly there, but you just need a little bit of encouragement and help, I think, and practice. That's what you need. You need practice. So we need to get these pathways DNA'd into your subconscious or whatever it is. Orientation's not great, memory's not great, but we'll just get a habit going so that you can, you know, tread the well-worn path, so to speak, out of habit. Now, is there anything else you can think of? Have we done it? Have we done what we need to do, do you think, mum? Oh yes, dear, I think we've covered a lot and it's marvellous. Okay, now just to let you know, I'm happy to be doing all this. I've got the time, energy, and I'm prepared to put in the effort, and I'm committed to it, mum. I know we were all a bit slack at the start when you came in, and well, let's say I was, let's take self-responsibility here. I was slack when you first came in because I just really didn't know what to do. I just was a bit lost, really. Lost for words and lost for action, so to speak. But now I've made an effort and I can see the benefit. I can see how well you're doing now that you're warm. You've got the lovely toasty room and the lovely bed, and getting the door sorted and the room sorted and making it identifiable. I can actually see step by step what needs to be done to help you be able to live here and have quality of life. It's quite clear in my thinking what we need to do. So because of that, I'm committed, and I'm very happy to go through whatever we need to do, mum, to get you nice and cozy and comfortable and orientated here. Oh, thank you, dear. Yes, it's a pleasure, mum. I quite enjoy it. I don't mind it at all now that I know what I'm doing. At the start, I wasn't so chuffed about it all, but because I was confused myself, to be honest. But now I can see the benefits of what we've done so far. Now, I've written about all these methods and techniques, etc., in both books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise. Good reading, easy reading, companion books they are. The first book, for when the family member goes into the dementia unit, and the second book, when they're established in the unit, and challenges and problems that may well come up, and how to approach them all in a positive, practical way. So all the help to help your relative with dementia who is in a dementia unit in these books. So it's good to get them, read up on them, and have them at hand. Handy little dementia diaries, positive little dementia diaries, yes. So thank you for your looks and likes and the big surge on TikTok and your interest. Please pass on the links. Thank you.